Alright guys, I got a nice quick little tutorial here that I'm going to show you. Um, this is how most kids draw an eyeball, and we're going to take it one step further, and I'm going to show you how to draw a really nice eyeball. It's going to be fun and fast. It's going to take 5 minutes. Stay tuned. Alright, we're going to start off with the eye. Your basic circle. Nice round circle. From here, we're going to start putting in the upper eyelid. The upper eyelid, you can consider it more as a roof. And it's actually resting on top of the iris. That's what the circle is. That represents our iris. That's the colored part of the eye. Some people have brown eyes, green eyes, blue eyes. That's the iris. That's the colored part of the eye. Inside the center is the pupil. That's the big black dot. The eyelid rests on top of the iris, and to show depth, we're going to go a little thicker on the bottom because there's a lip there. So we're going to shade that in. So already that looks like it's resting on top of the circle. Next, we're going to bring in the lip of the bottom eyelid, and we're going to go similar swoop with the bottom eyelid as we did with the top. Here, where the eyelid gets tucked in to the socket of your skull, we're going to go just a little darker, just to give it a shadow, make it look like it's, something's happening there. And we'll come down, we'll put in a tear duct, just a couple squiggly lines represents the tear duct. Get right into doing the pupil. Nice big fat circle. I'm going to end it here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little swoop like that. This represents the reflective light that could be shining on the eye. This is what's going to give the eye that shininess. The eye is actually wet, right? That's why we have tears. We got to keep that eyeball moist. So in order to make it look moist, we got to make it look shiny. I'm just going to bump this up a little bit and fill that in. Yeah, that's a lot quicker. So once we get this filled in, it's going to look almost like an eyeball automatically. There we go. So I was saying the top eyelid creates that shadow underneath because it's resting on top of the eyeball. We could totally bring that shadow down onto the eye, making the iris darker. And then as we get further away, we can just put in some accent lines. Same thing on this side. Right? The eye is going to create, the eyelid, I should say, will create a bit of a shadow. And already it's looking quite like an eye. So we'll give her some nice eyelashes. Everything that I'm doing here we can do at home, pencil and paper. Just because I'm working with Illustrator here on my computer, don't be shied away. I'm designing these workshops for the absolute beginner. Everything I'm doing here can be simply done at home using pen or pencil and erasers and like I said, don't shy away just because I'm using high-tech equipment. So over here we're going to put in the bridge of the nose. The bottom eyelid has a couple eyelashes, so we'll put in some dark eyelashes here. The eyeball does take up a lot of space inside the socket. When you're drawing skin and stuff like that, you can put in subtle little squiggly lines. I don't recommend putting in that round shape underneath. The more lines you put in, the older the person's going to look. And if you're drawing an eyeball of a little kid, the last thing you want to do is start putting in these wrinkles. Let me just back out a bit. So what we do is we just put subtle little squiggle. I got my... That's better. Let's back out a few of these here. There. So put in a few of these eyelashes. What I'm going to do right here is where I was saying the eyeball is wet. Even the whites actually pick up a little reflected light every once in a while. So in order to do that, we're just going to indicate that it's slippery looking, I guess. I guess up here we can totally start putting in the eyebrow. The eyebrow kind of, it's got this motion to it. So that's what we're going to try and create right here. So it kind of goes in, out. And just tidy up the lines, the eyelashes. The darker you make the eyelash on the top, the prettier it gets, I guess. You know, women tend to use a lot of eyeliner when they're going out on a date, or you know, going dancing for the night or something. And you know, the darker you make this upper eyelash, the cutesier they become. So when I draw, I tend to make a really dark eyelash to begin with. Just add a little shadow there. Let's see. I don't always put in the bottom. Sometimes it looks really good without the bottom eyelid. Sometimes I just omit it altogether and it still looks quite decent. But for this exercise, I think I'm going to put it in. I like the way that looks. I'm just going to change color to white, and I'm going to be using the white as an eraser instead of using the eraser. Let me see. Is that going to work? Yeah. So I'll get rid of the circle part. At home, you could totally just erase that. Yeah, I like the way that looks. It's nice already. Come back here. What I'm going to do is, oh, I want that black again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to darken the iris a little bit. And I don't know if you've seen that or not, but my line is quite squiggly. The wonderful thing about Illustrator is once you're done putting in that line, it will adjust it for you, so you get that nice smooth curve. I love Illustrator for that. That's one of my favorite things about Illustrator. Absolutely love it. I just adjust my line weight there so I can get a finer point coming down. There we go. I just found that the outside of the circle was a little thin for my taste. And as you come down away from the shadow, this point is going to get thinner. And that's just a way to make the illusion that it's a little brighter the further you get away from the shadow of the eyelid. Just bring it down to a point. Sometimes the bottom eyelid will also create a little shadow, just because it's a lip. You know, you got the lip on the top, and then you have the lip on the bottom. And what I mean by lip is when you're, okay, over here I'll draw it right out. This is your upper eyelid. The upper eyelid actually has this space on it. I just didn't draw that space. I filled it in because I wanted it shadow, right? That's why it's so dark there. But the bottom eyelid also has that. Right? Just back out of that. And actually, we're pretty much done. You know, from, I'll shut that off. You know, from that, you know, most little kids draw this. This is their eyes. A lot of adults draw this eye. I've drawn this eye for years. I had no idea how to draw eyes, but I practiced it and I studied it and I simplified it to the point where this is a lot more pleasing to me. Oh, I just noticed. Another thing that we can do is with the eraser is we can get right in here. And just give me a second here. Shrink it down. We've got this nice reflected light here, but sometimes you get, oh, that's not going to work. Let me change this to white. Sometimes you get a little more reflected light than just this, and it's easy to go back. If you're doing this at home with a pencil, you can just use your eraser. But the eye will pick up light from different light sources all the time, and it's nice to put these in there. You know, just subtle little hints. That looks pretty good. I'm going to just extend that eyebrow on the top a little bit, just to bring it closer to the end of that eyelash. And yeah, I think that looks, and you can always take the time and just put in these little squiggles here and there, and, you know, rough it up a little bit. You know, they're pretty, but they're rough at the same time. You don't, like I was saying earlier, you don't want to go and put, you know, too much crazy emphasis on the eye socket itself. You know, just something subtly like that is enough. Like, you know, I'm surprised that this actually worked. Once you start adding too many wrinkles, you'll notice if you're using photo reference at home, you'll see a lot of wrinkles coming out the side of the face like this. That's what's known as crow's feet. A lot of people don't actually get that until they're older. And the more that you add these lines, the older your drawings are going to look. So you know, as artists, we try and stay away from adding too many lines, unless that's what you're going for, of course. I mean, you know, you're not always going to draw beautiful streamlined eyes all the time. There will be the occasion where you're going to have to draw, you know, an adult senior citizen's eye. But for this, I think this works well for what it is. It's a female. Get that beautiful eyelash. She's going dancing. I think this is great. That turned out great. So from that, you know, wait, let's just shut this off. From this to that, about 5 minutes. Yeah. Thanks for watching.